Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Kuat Piston Pro X 4-bike rack here on our 2011 GMC Yukon. Now this is a platform style bike rack full of all kinds of bells, whistles, and convenience features. If you're looking for something that's going to give you a really great user experience, this is definitely it. Right off the bat, I want to talk about how it's holding the bike. It's going to be holding the bike by each tire. And that's going to mean no frame contact, making it good for our carbon frame bikes like we have right here, but also work really well with alternative frame bikes. There is a 40-pound weight capacity per bike, so just keep that in mind when you are loading it up. And overall, it's going to hold the bike pretty well. We get a little bit of movement in that front tire back and forth because it doesn't really cradle it at the bottom like some other bike racks might. I tend to think of something like the Sarah Super Clamp. Those ones kind of hug the bottom tire a little bit better and just keep that movement to a minimum. But overall, it's going to hold it really well and keep that frame safe. Like many other bike racks in this class, though, we have the ability to tilt away with the bikes loaded. That's going to give us our hatch access so we can get back there for anything we might need. And to do that, we've got this handle right up front. With one hand on the bike rack, I can pull that out and ease it down. I will say, it's easy to do right now, but when you've got this thing fully loaded, that handle could be really hard to reach, so you might need some extra help doing it. But if you've got this fully loaded with 4 bikes, then you probably have some extra people with you. This gives us hatch access, so we need to sit back here to change our shoes before or after a ride, we can, or we can just get something out of the back if we need it. I'll go ahead and close this up. And another thing to consider with tilting, raising it, all that kind of thing, is how heavy the bike rack is. It's a little over 100 pounds, and that's with it empty. Tilting it and everything with fully loaded bikes is going to be a lot heavier, but even just getting it in and out of your hitch, that's over 100 pounds you have to lift. So that might be a bit cumbersome. Definitely was a little bit of a challenge for us, so just keep that in mind too. The big thing with this, though, is the pistons. That's going to allow us to automatically push a button and open up these arms, whether we're loading or unloading a bike, and then simply ratchet them back down over the wheel whenever we're ready to hit the trails. Now, with this, it works really well if you're carrying a wide variety of bikes. Maybe one day you're going out with some friends, you've all got your large mountain bikes on there, and the next day you need to lower this down for your kid's bike tire. That is totally doable. You can adjust it on the fly really well with those pinch points right there and adjusting the hoop. Now, we'll get this one unloaded. With one hand on the bike, we can just hit those buttons for the piston and get it unloaded. Now, that innermost one is a little bit difficult to reach because of how far you have to reach over the rest of the bike rack. And there is limited space between the bike rack and the vehicle. So getting in through here to try to unload the bike, that's not much easier either. It's not too bad though, and then we can just ratchet those down when we're done. With it like this, let's get some measurements. Ground clearance is going to be the first one. And at the back end, here we are working with 31 inches of ground clearance. Should be plenty. We get it pretty high off the ground here with our hitch already high off the ground, so I don't think it's much of a concern. It does add a considerable amount of length to the back, sitting right at 48 inches of added length. So that is going to take up some extra room. Be cautious in your garage, parking spots. Realistically, it's not fitting in your garage with it like this, so just be mindful of that. Coming to that same handle we did before though, we can fold this up. This is if we have bikes unloaded. Maybe we don't want to deal with that hassle of getting this in and out of the hitch every time we want to use it. We want to just leave it here for next time. This is going to be a lot more condensed and take up less room. To be exact, it's only going to stick out 13 inches from the back of the bumper in this state. Some things to keep in mind with that, though, are our license plate is pretty much completely blocked, so is our backup camera, and it is going to take up quite a bit of room of that back window there, so visibility isn't going to be great. One thing it does have, though, is integrated lights here on the bike rack. That's going to plug in with 4-pole wiring. We don't have that on ours today, but we can easily get an adapter to convert that 7-pole down to a 4-flat and get us our turn signals, brake lights, running lights, things like that so people know what we're doing on the road. Up top we have a tool that we can use to use our anti-rattle device that's just integrated into the bike rack. It's not tool free, but we get the added security of needing a tool while still maintaining the convenience of it being tool free by having it stored on the bike rack. In the hitch, it's working with our 2" by 2" receiver tube, and that key, or that hitch pin, is locking with that key being key-to-like to the lock up here and the lock on the trays for our cable lock. Everything's under one system that way. And overall, I think it's a really solid rack. If you're looking for convenience, this is definitely going to be it. My personal take on it is it's a bit heavy. I would maybe look into something like the Super Clamp EX from Saris. It's going to be considerably lighter and easier to get in and out of the hitch. If you're looking for something that's just a little bit lighter, the Kuat Envy 4-bike rack is also a comparable option. Still going to be on the heavy side, but it's really just up to what fits your needs the best and what you're willing to lift up into the hitch. Either way you go though, they're going to be a great fit and get your bikes to their destination. Thanks for watching.